Hello everyone, welcome to this first episode of Just Wise Talks. In this episode, we wanted to bring in a very old concept of faith. Our late chairman, Dr. Rohit Shetty, who is a mentor, teacher to all of us and forever, brought in a concept which we have etched in our hospital front door and also in our logo. The concept of your faith shall heal you. The question is, in today's context, what is faith? The faith, by definition, means that I believe in something more than me, myself, and I, something above, something which is all-powerful. What is this all-powerful? In a spiritual domain, it need not necessarily be a god or a form. It can just be a spiritual energy. And when you look at this faith, it is the most important thing in our practice today. Our chairman used to always say, if you don't have faith in anything you do, your tablets, your doctor, your hospital, it will never give you the results you want. The beautiful definition of faith was very well explained by Krishna during his conversation with Arjuna. This is a particular incident when Arjuna has to shoot the arrow at the fish when they were in the Swayamvara for Draupadi. And very calmly explains to Arjuna how he has to be very calm and how he has to finally shoot that arrow. In a very beautiful spiritual domain. At one point of time, Arjuna asked Krishna, if I have to do everything, then Lord, what are you going to do here? And the beautiful answer Krishna said is, you are looking at that oil, reflection, and then shooting that arrow. I'm going to make sure when you're shooting that arrow, the oil in that well is calm. So profound it is that if the oil shakes, however skilled you are, is never going to reach that particular target. So faith is belief in a superior self. Now, how does it have a role in medicine? And that's a very important point to discuss today. Because today, a lot of us, we have more as a curer. We cure disease. We write, I can cure this, I can do this, I can do that. My tablet cures, my surgery cures. But when medicine started, maybe thousands and thousands years back, way back to the time we had Charaka, Shushrutas, and even before that, and also in the Arabic world, in the Chinese world, the most important cure was defined as healing. Healing was what a medicine doctor should do. Over time, when technologies changes, instrumentation happened, we stopped looking at healing and it became cure. And everybody wants cure. I have a pain in my hand. I don't know why we don't go too deep into the aspect of what changes that pain. We go into curing it and we do very good job of curing it. But what is important today is when you incorporate faith, you heal it. So what is healing? Definition of healing compared to a definition of cure. I call it the ESPN components. E for emotion, S for social, P for psychological, N for nature. How walking in a forest, taking fresh air. Emotional is how you give emotional, empathetic support. Social is how you look at the social surrounding around you, how they support you. Psychological is about feeling, what makes you happy. Again, is I just mentioned about, just feel of fresh air, sunlight. So, why is faith very important? There was a very nice article that how did I get into so involved in this concept about faith and healing. Many years back, I was traveling, and the flight, international flight, had one new episode of magazine of National Geographic, and we all used to National Geographic as a magazine which brings you beautiful photographs of mountains, animals. But the title of that magazine was Faith and Healing. When I looked at faith and healing, I thought, let me just go through it. And that became a very, very powerful change in the way I looked at faith and healing. And that book became one of my strongest believer of how we had to look at healing, not just curing. When I looked at that book, there are a few instances. A strong medicine like morphine, which is used for chronic pains people suffering from end-stage cancers. When you give those medicines, people who are given the same, just water, but the label as morphine, and they were shown to the person that I'm giving you morphine today for you, the chemical reaction in our body created an impact which is very similar to what you would see in a morphine patient. Isn't that a wonderful proof that morphine and water, but a bottle written as morphine, gives you the same body reaction? So why does it happen? Our body and our cells are driven by a lot of these molecules. There are different molecules. For example, I'm extremely happy today. Give me a reward. I'm feeling extremely, I'm feeling top of the world. There is so many beautiful hormones, there's so many neurotransmitters, so many cytokines we release. There are dopamine, serotonin, oxytocins. These things make you feel very happy. In this regard, I would like to say, request all the people who are watching this to go back and look at the movie Inside Out. I think it's one of the most beautiful movies done on emotions. It's an animated movie, but the power is that how your good emotion cells are moving, how when you're happy, what cells come in. This is where I think faith has an important role. So when my patients come and ask me, see, something is not right, I need, when they say that I went to the temple, I prayed, I went to the mosque, I went to church, I'm very happy. Because you're invoking faith, you're invoking somebody who's higher than yourself. Faith is nothing but somebody who's higher than yourself. Believe in that. When you invoke them, your chemical reaction already started to heal. When somebody says that some strong faith made them to heal better, there is a chemical proof that it can happen. The chemical proof. See, being a scientific curer, we can't just say that, no, it never happens that way. There is a way it can happen. The way it can happen is when your body's belief, there's been experiments on it. There are a lot of beautiful biochemical experiments which prove that the cells in your body react to a certain wavelength, cells to a frequency, certain way in which your thought processes. And that cell can actually start behaving in a good way to make something to get cured. So it's not a cure by miracle. Many times it's, this is a miraculous cure. The miraculous cure still may have an answer. It depends on the person. Miraculous cure doesn't happen. You don't have belief in anything. You don't have a belief in your medicines or anybody. Then it may never happen. But miraculous cure happens when you start looking at the faith in everything. Let's go back to when we were young. We used to go to physicians. We used to go somebody who's practicing in a local place. Sometimes they may not even be a doctor. I'm talking about 30, 40, 50 years back. But he used to cure. But he's not just curing that. It's just to heal. We used to look at everybody. When you go there, you know the person because you live in the same village, at the same town. Imagine what the doctor is trying to say, because he knows everything. Today, in this changing world and dynamics and disconnect to everything, we don't know what you're doing. Nobody tells you what you're doing. So what happens is our whole dimension changes. When the dimension changes, we lose disconnect. So this whole concept of faith and healing is about, when you go to anybody, you have to be complete in trust with what he or she is saying. The disbelief suddenly changes the chemical reaction. I've had patients whom I've treated have tremendous faith in what I did. I've not done any miraculous treatment, but I gave the same treatment, but with a lot of other aspects to it. And then it has worked well, and I can say it's miraculously worked well. Today, being a doctor is not easy. Everybody is human. We are all human beings. Textbooks needs to be rewritten every year now because the disease is changing so fast. What we read as students, the disease, how it forms, what you see on X-ray, what you see is totally different. Classic example was COVID. Today it's monkeypox or something else tomorrow. Because if you're not updating yourself, and this is happening not just because of one XYZ factors, virus mutate because of the environment they are in, the kind of environment, the kind of global warming, the kind of foods, emotion status, work pressures, changes the entire ecosystem of health. So in this whole changing ecosystem of health, the one strong factor that can hold us tight is belief in faith. Belief in faith of the higher self, belief in faith of the person who is treating you, belief in faith about the medicines you take in, belief in faith of everything around the process of healing. So, dear friends, this podcast is all about looking at healing as a major factor than just curing. And for that, you don't need a doctor. We have to be partners in everything. I mean, all of us are going to get sick. This is how the system is. This is how the body is. This is how, it's like any machine. But as we incorporate this major fact, according to me, the faith is probably looks at 80% of the healing process. 20% of that, what happens in the healing is the curing process. 20% curing is your surgery, medicines, and other things. So be mindful about what I just said, whether it's for you or your family members or for anybody, including myself. I think then the whole process of health becomes more beautiful. Thank you.